I think everybody around the world, especially in the media, needs to be more precise in their use of terms. For example, words like Zionist, neo-Nazi, fascist are thrown around extremely frequently without much consideration of what these words actually mean. Um, Especially, for example, the word fascist. Fascism is an ideology that encompasses the economy, society, military, foreign relations, etc., etc. Um, and many groups, for example, the EDL is often quoted as being fascist, and while they might be xenophobic and some of their members may be fascist in their beliefs, um, the EDL are a single issue organisation who actually even they're right wing, but superficially they don't even resemble fascism that much. Um, the British National Party has fascistic qualities in its ideology and in its opinions towards the economy. Anders Behring Breivik was often described after the attacks on Friday as a neo-Nazi, or being connected to neo-Nazi groups, which is untrue. He actually admits that he is against Nazism. Again, he could be considered xenophobic, but and his views on the economy are fascistic because he advocates a third way, but he is not a neo-Nazi. Neo-Nazis again neo-Nazis and fascists are also quite different and probably oppose each other in many ways. They have a lot of similar qualities. Outwardly, superficially, kind of militarism, extreme patriotism, nationalism, etc. They share those kind of qualities in common. But the Nazis weren't fascists, and fascist Italy weren't Nazis. They had a different ideology. Both bad, but different. The other word is Zionist. The fact is Zionist is used excessively anyway. According to many anti-Zionists, but I'm an anti-Zionist, but I don't share the opinion that Zionists are behind every single attack, including 9/11, the Norway attacks are supposedly done by Zionists. Everything is supposedly the blame to Zionists. And from my observation, Zionists have kind of one focus, and that's Zion. They don't care about anything else. They care about Israel, following Israel's kind of Zionist mandate, and promoting support for Israel, the Israeli state. So, beyond that, I don't think they have much interest in taking over the world. A lot of people seem to think that capitalism is a product of Zionism, whereas I tend to think that Zionism is a product of capitalist imperialism. That's a subject for another video. I can't remember if I already did a video on Zionism or not. Maybe I should. Yes, I did too, in fact. Again, communist and socialist are other words that are used so frequently without consideration to their actual definition towards the the definition of their ideologies. For example, Obama is so often called a socialist or a communist, and yet you'll probably find no harsher critics of Obama than socialists and communists. Obama has no belief in socialism or communism. What was the first thing he did when he got into power? He committed an act of imperialism by sending, I think it's 10,000 troops into Afghanistan, which is obviously not the socialist thing to do. If you read every single, and I mean every single socialist newspaper in the entire world, it will have strong opposition to the war in Afghanistan, or any other American-led war for that matter. And he bailed out the banks. And why did he bail out the banks? He bailed out the banks to keep the capitalist system afloat, which communists and socialists want to tear down the capitalist system. Um, Part of this problem is down to people using socialism or describing themselves as socialist incorrectly. Gaddafi describes himself as a socialist, but the socialist system is not present in his controlled areas of Libya. Um, Hitler, of course, described himself as a national socialist, but again, socialism was not present in um, Nazi Germany. In fact, in many actual communist countries, I personally do not believe that the socialist system was put in place. I feel that the closest examples were the Soviet Union during its early days, pre-Stalin. Um, for a while, China was, before Deng Xiaoping had formed socialism. Yugoslavia was a socialist country, and I feel, it's just my opinion that other countries could have gone a lot further in their application of socialism. They had a form of state socialism, which had its drawbacks and it had its benefits. But again, so, to kind of return to my point, to describe someone like Obama as being a socialist is completely incorrect. To even describe the Norwegian Labour Party, which was targeted as socialist, I mean, many people describe that youth camp as being a socialist indoctrination camp. They may or may not have been indoctrinated with something, but whatever it wasn't what I call socialism. It might have been a form of social democracy, which is socialism light. So yeah, this is just a message to say, if you're going to call someone a Nazi, if you're going to call someone a fascist or a Zionist or a communist or a socialist, make sure that person actually is what you're calling them. Take the time to look up and learn the definition of these different ideologies before using them in an ignorant manner, because you just look like a douche. So, thanks for listening.